Houston. I'm a lifestyle nurse specialist, Vidant Lifestyle Medicine Clinic. And I'm here to talk about a 3-cheese pizza that's pretty simple, easy peasy kind of deal. And you just need a few ingredients. And it depends what you've got in your fridge that you could use. So we have got pita bread. And I just wanted to give a little point that when you are looking, so this is the whole wheat, and there are 4 grams of fiber in the pita bread. That's the whole wheat versus 0 in the white. So just be careful when you pick this up. Usually where I get it's Food Lion, so it's right there in the deli section. So past the cupcakes, past the cakes and pies, and then the pita bread will be there on one of the end aisles in the red deli section. And the idea is that it's got 31 grams of carbs in this. So think about so 1 pita bread is 31 grams of carbs. Well, that would be like a small carb meal. So think about this idea versus if you ordered a pizza or had ones with thicker crust that you don't have as much control over. So here you've got some control. You get to put whatever veggies, or if you've got some leftover, I always use like leftover chicken or leftover steak. If you have that, you could slice it real thin to put it on here. And this just gives you another option of a meal that could be quick and easy. One thing, so we got the pita bread, that's the base. You could use a tortilla, however it's a little bit more flimsy, and this brand really holds up well. I've tried a few others, but this one holds up well. So once it gets in that oven, and my oven is on at 400 degrees, you want to preheat that so that while you're getting things ready, it's ready to go. So we've got the 3 cheeses, and I hate to say it's 3 cheeses, I thought, until I looked at this packet. And so we've already got this, you can see it in here, it's already flaked up. So the factory did the work for you. So this is Asiago, which I love, Romano, which I love, and Parmesan or Parmigiano. So those are great Italian cheeses for our pizza. And then I've added a mozzarella, which doesn't have the same kind of flavors as these guys in here. So it's almost like a white pizza we're making. And then we've got sharp cheddar, and that's one of my favorites. So you want to use these sparingly because there's going to be there's going to be fat content. So the more cheese, of course, you put on, the more fat that you've got kind of adding to your pizza. So use sparingly, like the more you smother it, that's going to add to your calorie amount. And I just wanted to let you know, so of course you can buy the bags that their cheese is already shredded and ready to go, but they've got that added filler that kind of keeps it separated, so it's like another chemical product added in. But if you just buy the block of cheese, you're going to save a little bit of money, and you get a little workout with your grater once again. So you can shred it, get in a little workout, get your heart rate up as you're shredding the cheese. So you get all that ready. Also for our pizza, we're going to have one that's going to have tomato sauce, and this is just one of the usuals off the shelf, and that's going to be the base. And we're going to have a little bit of broccoli. We've got some basil that I've chopped up, and that's from our garden. And then we've got just some light onions, so spring green onions would go on that with the cheese. Then another option, so that'll be on one pan, and then the other option will be, I found this basil pesto, so pesto, and that is all ground up. Let's see, it's going to be off. So it's already, so that's going to be the base on another. So that's going to have the basil and the cheddar, the cheeses, I mean. Okay, so we are ready to go. So we're going to take this over here. We're going to start to this side, and we're going to make this work. So we're going to just put just want enough to kind of make sure that you get it all covered. Whatever's bare is going to just crisp up in the oven. So we've got that one. We're just spreading around, so maybe like 2-3 tablespoons on each, but you can kind of judge it as you put it on. So, and then just spread it evenly so that everybody's getting a little piece of the action with the tomato sauce. So there's that. Just put that over to the side. That there, and then we're going to just use this broccoli, and we're just going to place a few of these on it. And I cut it fairly thin, some of it, some's just little pieces, but that's okay. And it can be whatever vegetable you've got. Spinach would work well on here. And then because it's going into a hot oven, but that is definitely adding to, remember we talked about the fiber in I'm even going to just dump those last little bits out so that we're not wasting any. And that's adding to the fiber value for it. And we're going to add the little bit of basil, enhancing the flavors with that there. So they've all got a little touch of that. And a little bit of onion. It's almost like a green goddess one here with the veggies. And if you don't like onions, then you would just leave them off. And if you don't like broccoli, you can do a cheese pizza. We'll leave one without the onions, and that's it. And so then we're going to just put a little bit each of the cheese. Because that is going to melt, and then that's going to spread out. So you've got it. And there. These little flakes, those are kind of nice. They're going to, and that is a lot of cheese. There. There. And then the last little one. And I don't like it to fall off, so I would pick it up and put it back on there. And of course the foil is going to save you on the cleanup afterwards, hopefully, as things start to melt. There. And then that's those pizzas ready to go. Now just move out the cheese so it can kind of hit everything. And then over here with the pesto, we're going to just use our spoon and scoop that in. And that's got pesto, olive oil, and pine nuts. And that's just a different version. So we're going to make that work. And we're going to spread it out. And this is just a different option for you to kind of change up, you know, oh, not pizza again, that now you've got something different. So I'd probably put 2 of these guys on each one. And we're spreading it around. And then this also, so if you cut it into 4 pieces, there you go. And if you had half, that's even cutting down. That could be a snack for you for carbohydrates. Still getting some fiber, and you know what you've put into it. And we're probably going to just put some green onions on there. We don't need to put any basil on here because the pesto is made from that. That might be overkill. And there we go. Just move those guys around. And then we're going to divvy out our cheese. And I think we are going to have enough for all. And then just if you got short on the one end, then you would put a little bit more of the different kind on the other. Just so that you can get a little bit of a hint of cheese on your pizza. Let's see. Look. And you don't want to kind of run out on the poor guy at the end, so you can finish him off with this guy, this amount of cheese. And even you could jazz this up with pineapple and ham. There would be your like Hawaiian pizza. You could add a little chili powder on there, or peppers. Some of those chilies that we have there, you could add that on if you like a little spice. And then the last little bit would be the little bit parsley, or whatever you've got. And there are your pizzas. And so these are going to go into the oven, and they'll be in there at 400 degrees, and that'll be for about 15 minutes. Okay, but you might want to check, because you just never know how your oven is running. Too hot, too cold, just open up or look through the window just to see that everything's melting up. Okay? Oven, they were in the oven at 400 for 15 minutes, and I did change the racks a little midway through, just put, you know, flipped them, one on the top, one on the bottom, and then flipped them again, just so that they would do a nice even cook. So we've got the broccoli onion with the 3/6 cheeses, we've got it done. And then we've got the pesto cheese surprise over here. So what we're going to do is, and so some of the oil, don't worry about that, that's just the way the pesto works, is there's some olive oil in it, so got a little extra, but it's good for your heart, so not a big deal. And then they are nice and crisp. So the big thing about the pita, you want to be nice and crisp so that they're going to hold up well. So I'm going to just put these guys over here on this so we can get rid of this hot pan because they are right out of the oven. Oh, this isn't a good spatula. So just depending on portion-wise, I would just take my big knife, my big French knife, and give it a little cut. And if you were trying to feel like you've got extra pizza, you could cut it into 6, and that can trick your mind to be thinking. So imagine if you've got, here's your little plate, we're going to just serve it up. Here's your little pizza. Is that wet? Oh, well. There you go. And there is your little pizza ready to go. Alrighty, so here are our 3 pizzas out of the oven. These were the veggies with the broccoli and onion and the 6 cheeses. So they are ready. They were in the oven for 15 minutes at 400. And so we're just going to give them a little cut. So this pizza, just if you're thinking about your carbohydrates, one of these is going to be about 30 grams of carbs. The vegetables and the cheese, that's not going to be any carbohydrates for you. It's the bread on the bottom with the pita. So we got lots of fiber here with the pita and fiber with the vegetables. And then if you paired this with a green tossed salad or a chopped salad, then that would be a meal complete. You can always, because this is a veggie cheese pizza, you could always, if you've got a little bit of leftover chicken or you've got leftover maybe steak, you could slice it real thin and put that on before you put the cheese on, just to please everybody in the household. So we're just going to put that over, and if you thought about it, this half would be your salad and then your little pizza would be over here. And you could just layer them up. Whoop, oh dear. Just as big, and then you'll be full for the rest of the evening.